Hey there, it's Mazzy. Welcome back. Back in America from British Columbia, Canada. Had a great time up there. I want to thank everyone for all the comments, all the views on that video. My wonderful 4 days in Canada, as well as the Record Store Day videos leading up to last Saturday, Record Store Day. Now, I want to say one thing. I think a lot of us are now finally burnt out on Record Store Day videos and discussions and things, but I'm doing one more. I thought about doing a review of all the records that I purchased, that I picked up, because people want to get an overview on some of them, but I decided to narrow it down, and I only chose 5 records to talk about because they thematically, genre-wise, they fit together. Now, warning, there's a few moments, minutes of political discussion and possible discourse and response from me based on comments I got on my Canadian video. But this record is going to showcase 5 pretty much Americana crossover folk, rootsy, bluesy country records, artists that I think kind of fit together nicely, and just a nice little clean package of 5 American records, American music. And I've heard most of these before. Some I've had on CD, some I just know the artists really well. And these are amongst my favorites. I love these. But what I need to do is respond to a couple of comments in particular. One, I get it, not so bad, but someone wrote, "Do we really need to see you show the American stuff empty, covered, and buy local Canadian half a dozen times? It's about the music, stupid, in words only, it seems." Now, fair question. That is in response to that Canadian travel log video. And my friends in Canada took me into a liquor store. They wanted to show me. Now, they love Americans. They have no issue with Americans. It's this policy and these stupid tariffs and things they're putting on. So I had 2 less than 1 minute videos combined together with that entire 35-minute video or so of Canada. And one of them panned down the whiskey section, the empty American whiskey section, up the Scotch and down the Canadians, and ended on the whiskey, the empty whiskey and by Canadians, taken off the shelves. The second part was the wine row, showing the American sign and the tarps covering the American wine, panning over to the Argentinian wine and the Chilean wine, and then coming back the Australian on the other side, back to the American, and ending up on the tarps. So it wasn't a lot of times, it was 2. But it does showcase what's going on with these tariffs and things, and how we're alienating our allies. Now, the other comment I got, and it really bugged me, and someone will say, "Mazzy, don't let the trolls get to you." Well, this is something that goes back during the Vietnam era. Those of you of a certain age, when a lot of us were protesting that Vietnam War, a war that we know now was a wasted war, one of many, and obviously veterans were treated like crap when they got back. But a lot of people would say, if you don't like America, love it or leave it. America is about protest also. It's about free speech. And this is happening again now. And I got a comment on that video, on that Canadian video, said, Maslov, maybe he didn't even say my name, he said, "How come you hate your country so much?" Well, first of all, I'm proud to be American. I love America. I don't always like its policies, and I am one that will support free speech. And in fact, what's happening right now, our current president is shutting down speech. CBS, he wants to shut down 60 Minutes because he doesn't like the content. He wants colleges and universities to not get American money because of the speech on campus. That's all I'll say about that. But I want to go on these 5 great American artists records that I got, and I'm going to tell you about them, what I like about them. First of all, to me, one of my very favorite, and those of you who watch me frequently know that my favorite guitar player is Cooder. I've seen Cooder over a dozen times, over the years. And this is a Rhino release. Hopefully they're going to do a series of archival releases, because there's a lot of recordings, especially in the 70s, that Rye did everything from the Old Grey Whistle Test in the UK to a lot of radio things. This is from 1972. This was recorded at Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, November 19th, 1972 at the Main Point. I'm assuming, there's no other notes here. Could have been a sheet of notes, right? But nothing in detail about that except all the credits here about that recording. However, it's a fantastic performance. Solo guitar work, acoustic guitar work. What this is just before Boomer Story came out and after his second album. And he does songs on here, Coming In on a Wing on a Prayer. A couple songs that would do later. Tattler, which would be on, Paradise and Lunch. Vigilante Man, isn't that the Guthrie song? FDR in Trinidad, great song, the Calypso, one of the first Calypso things that really crossed over. Attila the Hun kind of made it famous back then. Diddy Wah Diddy, another great piece, a cover that he would record on Paradise and Lunch with the great Father Earl Hines on piano. Jesus on the Main Line and Going Brownsville. This is really great. Wide stereo. I did have a comment, I think, when I posted this on Instagram. Someone said, doesn't that wide stereo bug you? No. I think they have the guitar and vocal and the guitar on one side. It's incredible sounding record. I think this is one. All these are really good records. So American, a great American from Santa Monica, California, a pioneer in acoustic guitar playing, of slide guitar, bottleneck guitar. This is a fantastic release. I think it was like $26 or so. So right in the pocket. Nothing fancy about the package, but just great music. It is the music first. Now this, I was surprised how much I love it. I do have the compact disc. This is a live Emmylou Harris record, was called Spy Boy. Spy Boy was like the band that was put together for Emmylou Harris. This was as a result of the big change-up for Emmylou with Wrecking Ball, that Daniel Lanois produced record that totally changed the sort of the direction and the sound of Emmylou Harris. Not that strict country rock, crossover country, rootsy stuff. It's there, but it gets in those Daniel Lanois sounds and loops and a darkness to it, but it's just such a beautiful record. This was the result. She went on tour with a lot of those songs, plus some of the songs she had been doing since her first album, in 1975, Pieces of the Sky. This is an expanded version from the compact disc. And on this tour, I saw this period of the tour when Buddy Miller came on and started recording a lot of these shows. He brought the big tape machines, the big consoles to record these. This is obviously times of tape. It wasn't Pro Tools. It wasn't anything else. But the beginning of this tour, which I did not see, Daniel Lanois started playing guitar and other instruments, and obviously his effects, pedals and loops and things on the tour. But when Buddy Miller took over, that's when I saw this tour. And this band is killer. It's more of a, again, it fits that Wrecking Ball. Now, she's always had great bands every time I've seen her. A lot of these kind of musicians she plays with, obviously Buddy Miller, I've seen many times at Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, the Golden Gate Park show, annual show in San Francisco, which is amazing. I saw the Hot Band in mid-70s when James Burton was on and Rodney Crowell, and then Albert Lee, yes. Great guitar players, great thing. But this is intense. There's some ballsy bass on this record. This is really, really good. So extra tracks that were never on the CD. This is a double album, and this is on New West, a Record Store Day issue. And I just think it's a kick-ass live record, and I've always loved Emmylou Harris's voice. I mean, it just tugs at me. Now, this is something, this is the last release by Ralph Stanley. Ralph Stanley, Man of Constant Sorrow. This is a record, crossover from the last thing. This is co-produced by Buddy Miller, who was produced and on the road with Emmylou Harris there, and Jim Lauderdale. And this is recorded at Buddy's house. The musicians, the Clinch Mountain Boys, is the bluegrass group of the Stanley brothers, went into that with Ralph Stanley. Now, if you don't know Ralph Stanley, he got a huge resurrection in the year 2000 because of the Coen brothers film Old Brother, Where Art Thou? He was the voice, under the hood at least the voice of that hooded KKK member, oh death, oh death. And he got a renaissance there. T-Bone Burnett really brought a lot of these great artists out, and that was a hit. Roots music swept America, and this is kind of that taken to another, a little bit of a different direction. A bluegrass record with a plethora of wonderful guests all over this. Great acoustic sounding record. I have the CD. I never had it on vinyl. I don't even think it came out on vinyl, but this is a stunner. Ricky Skaggs sings on it. Now, a lot of the guests sing with Ralph. There's a couple that he's not really there. He's pulled back. But a lot of the songs out, Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys would sing. A few other things that are kind of a little brought in for this. T-Bone Burnett plays guitar on it as well. You got Nathan Stanley's son, Ralph Stanley's son. Got Buddy Miller and Jim Lauderdale doing a tune together. Lee Ann Womack, a country artist, had a bunch of hits in the, I guess, the late 90s or 2000s or so. But you also have Elvis Costello doing a great duet with Ralph Stanley. Gillian Welch and David Rawlings, of course. We love them. They do Pig and Pen. Two Coats, it's Ralph Stanley and Robert Plant. What a great combination that is. Dylan McCoury, Old Crow Medicine Show, Ralph Stanley does two songs totally on his own, including Man of Constant Sorrow. If you know the Foggy Mountain Boys from Old Brother, that's right in the pocket of this kind of music. And it's a beautiful recording. Great, rootsy, modern bluegrass. That whole bluegrass later stuff that came out of the Doc Watson with the flat picking guitar. Fantastic record. Beautifully produced, beautifully sounding. Great American music coming out of the country that I was born in, the country I love. I love Americana. Next is a comp, and I picked this up. I've heard some of these songs. I think I have some of them on other comps and other collections. This is Clarence White. This is Melodies from a Bird in Flight, 1963 to 73. This might be the least consistent of the bunch here. It goes over, obviously, this 10-year period. He played with the Kentucky Colonels, one of the great flat-picking guitar players, acoustic guitar originally, and he did this kind of thing, and he was like a wunderkid early on with the Kentucky Colonels and made great record on World Pacific. Just amazing. His whole dream was to become a studio musician after the Kentucky Colonels kind of broke apart. Worked on a lot of other records session-wise. He patterned his sort of vision and his journey over James Burton, who played on a lot of records, played with Ricky Nelson, like his guitar player, played with Elvis Presley, later would play with Graham Parsons, and of course, Emmylou Harris in the Hot Band. But what a great, astounding guitar player. He was in the second incarnation, or the third, depending on how you're counting, of the Byrds, that great flat-picking guitar player, and then his wonderful electric Telecaster playing. I've said it many times, him and Gene Parsons, the drummer in that later part of Byrds, invented the B bender for the Telecaster, pulls the B string from the strap, and it makes like a pedal steel sound for your guitar playing. Amazing guitar player. Died way too young in 73, I believe. Hit and run, loading equipment in his vehicle. But there's great stuff. There's one song, I think it's, is it Now and Then, or is it Fire on the Mountain? That's more of almost seems like a demo where it's a lot of tape hiss on it. So this is an archival, but the rest of it sounds great. There's some Bird jams on here with Roger McGuinn and the rest of the Byrds. There's a great instrumental version he plays of Ode to Billy Joel, electric guitar on here. Gene Parsons on drums. I think there is one mistake. They mention on here that Graham Parsons plays guitar on rhythm guitar and something. I think that was supposed to be Gene Parsons. Yeah, on I'm on my way home again, with the Everly Brothers on here. It's an Everly Brothers song. He played with them as well. But this is a cool comp. This is someone who loves this guitar playing. Now, I keep thinking of, these last two albums are guitar gods. We all think about the rock and roll British blues guy and American guy and Jimi Hendrix, but we never think of the rootsy guitar players, the bluegrass players. These wonderful guitarists are guitar gods in my book. But this is kind of a nice selection. It wasn't an expensive record. It was a record store day record. Those of you who buy CDs probably know a lot of this music. I think there are several unreleased things, but Clarence White, I could not resist, obviously, not just because of the Byrds, but because of his history and his playing. This is all about Clarence White featured on this album. And last but not least, this American right here thinks that this may be the best. I'm getting choked up. The best issue on Record Store Day, the most enjoyable musically for my part, at least one of them. And now not including jazz, not including rock and roll. I guess I'm just including roots, this whole Americana thing. And this isn't even an Americana record. This is Marty Stuart and his fabulous superlatives. Marty Stuart, to me, is an incredible guitar player and band leader. I think he was playing, at 15 with, was it Flat or Scruggs? One of those, and someone's going to tell me what it is. I always get that wrong, so I'm going to throw them both out there. But also on this, you have Kenny Vaughan on guitar. So the two of them, I've seen them live a handful of times, and they're incredible. They're like cosmic country psychedelic rock. They're like that middle period of the Byrds, the album with the horse instead of David Crosby, where it's a little cosmic. And they are so into the Byrds and so influenced the Byrds with this country thing and this twang and this surf psychedelic thing. What's amazing about this album, this is a double album. It's 45 RPM. I think I played the first minute at 33 and it was slow, but it was still so cool. And I realized it was a double 45 instrumental. And that's the key. It's like psychedelic ventures, surf guitar, this beautiful black, beautiful label. The only problem with this, as I see it so far, it's sold out. They didn't press that many, maybe 2,000, 2,500, maybe not even that. It's sold out. And so far, there's no CD, there's no download. And I know there are a lot of fans of Marty Stuart that don't buy vinyl. And this should continue. This should be re-released. This should come out. I don't think it said this was a Record Store Day first, but this is an incredible album. It's a little Calexico, a little surf music, a little psychedelic, just really groovy record. And the quartet, I think there's also a piano player added on here. It's just incredible. This is my favorite non-rock and roll record, yet it is rock. So it crosses over in so many areas. So Marty Stuart and the fabulous superlatives, 20 superlative, that's a mouthful, instrumentals, space junk for Record Store Day. So 5 Americana, American music, rootsy, bluesy, country, bluegrass music that represents one of the great genres of created in this country, the country I was born in, the country I love. So don't ever doubt me. Don't fuck with me about my love of this country just because I may protest something or giggle when the Canadians take the whiskey off the shelf. So thanks for watching again. Enjoy the music. The music is first, but there's a lot that adds up to make this music great. I will put a warning. If you lasted this long, you didn't give a shit about the warning, So be it. Mazzy loves you. Take care.
I'd like to say a few words in defense of our country. 'Cause people aren't bad, nor are they mean. Now the leaders we have, while they're the worst that we've had, are hardly the worst this poor world has seen. Let's turn history's pages, shall we? Take the Caesars, for example. While in the first few of them, they were sleeping with their sisters, stashing little boys in swimming pools and burning down the city. And one of them named his own horse to be consul of the empire. That's like vice president or something. That's not a very good example, is it? Here's one, the Spanish Inquisition. Put people in a terrible position. I don't even like to think about it. Sometimes I like to think about it. Just a few words. Defense of our country. This time at the top could be coming to an end. Now we don't want their love. Respect at this point, it's pretty much out of the question, but time like these, we sure could use a friend. Hitler, Stalin, men who need no introduction. King Leopold of Belgium, that's right. Everyone thinks he's so great. Well, he owned the Congo, and he tore it up too. Took the diamonds, took the silver, took the gold. Know what he left him with? Malaria. The president once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Now it seems like we're supposed to be afraid. It's patriotic, in fact, and color-coded. And what we're supposed to be afraid of? Why, of being afraid. That's what terror means, doesn't it? That's what it used to mean. It pisses me off a little when I think that this Supreme Court's gonna outlive me. A couple young Italian fellas and a brother on the court now, too. But I defy you, anywhere in the world, to find me two Italians as tight-ass as the two Italians we got. And as for the brother, well, Pluto's not a planet anymore either. The end of an empire. It's messy at best. This empire's ending, like all the rest. Like the Spanish Armada, drift on the sea. We drift in the land of the brave, the home of the free. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.